Welcome to this week's edition of Flashback Friday, your opportunity to get some good review by listening to episodes from the past that Jason has handpicked to help you today in the present and propel you into the future. Enjoy.
Welcome to the Holistic Survival Show with Jason Hartman. The economic storm brewing around the world is set to spill into all aspects of our lives. Are you prepared? Where are you going to turn for the critical life skills necessary to survive and prosper? The Holistic Survival Show is your family's insurance for a better life. Jason will teach you to think independently, to understand threats, and how to create the ultimate action plan. Sudden change or worst case scenario, you'll be ready. Welcome to Holistic Survival, your key resource for protecting the people, places, and profits you care about in uncertain times. Ladies and gentlemen, your host, Jason Hartman.
Welcome to the Holistic Survival Show. This is your host, Jason Hartman, where we talk about protecting the people, places, and profits you care about in these uncertain times. We have a great interview for you today, and we will be back with that in less than 60 seconds on the Holistic Survival Show. And by the way, be sure to visit our website at holisticsurvival.com. You can subscribe to our blog, which is totally free, has loads of great information, and there's just a lot of good content for you on the site. So make sure you take advantage of that at holisticsurvival.com. We'll be right back.
You know, sometimes I think of Jason Hartman as a walking encyclopedia on the subject of creating wealth.
Well, you're probably not far off from the truth, Penny, because Jason actually has a 3-book set on creating wealth that comes with 60 digital download audios.
Yes, Jason has that unique ability to make you understand investing the way it should be. It's a world where anything less than 26% annual return is disappointing.
I love how he actually shows us how we can be excited about these scary times and exploit the incredible opportunities this present economy has afforded us.
We can pick local markets untouched by the economic downturn, exploit packaged commodities investing, and achieve exceptional returns safely and securely.
I also like how he teaches you to protect the equity in your home before it disappears and how to outsource your debt obligations to the government.
And the entire set of advanced strategies for wealth creation is being offered at a savings of $94.
That's right, and to get your Creating Wealth Encyclopedia series, complete with over 60 hours of audio and 3 books, just go to jasonhartman.com/store.
If you want to be able to sit back and collect checks every month, just like a banker, Jason's Creating Wealth Encyclopedia series is for you.
It's my pleasure to welcome Paul Huljich to the show. He is the co-founder, chairman, and joint CEO of Best Corporation. He's an organic food pioneer and author of Stress Pandemic, 9 Natural Steps to Survive, Master Stress, and Live Well. And he's just got a beautiful website and some very interesting take on stress. Paul, welcome. How are you today?
I'm very good, thank you, Jason, and thank you for the opportunity to be on your show and reach out to your listeners.
Well, we're glad to have you. Now, you're from Australia, I take it, and today you're in Boston, right?
That's right. I'm on tour throughout the United States, and for the last 3 years I've been living on the Granite Rock in New York City, and that's where I wrote Stress Pandemic. I wanted to be right amongst the intensity of living in a very much 24/7 environment.
Yeah, definitely. Well, New York City's the place to do it, that's for sure. If you can't get stressed out in New York City, you can't get stressed out anywhere. But tell us a little bit about, now, just before we start actually, where are you from in Australia?
Well, I'm actually from New Zealand. I've lived in Australia a lot in Sydney, but I was actually born in New Zealand, in Auckland.
Been there and been to Australia. Both beautiful, beautiful places.
Well, thank you.
Good stuff. Well, tell us a little bit about how you came to write Stress Pandemic, if you would.
Well, it's a bit of a story about what happened was I bought into the Hollywood dream, that is to work hard and actually make myself a big success and be my own boss and live in a safe neighbourhood and drive a great car, let's say. So I worked very, very hard. And at the age of about 40, I thought I had the perfect life. I was the chairman, CEO of a multi-million-dollar pioneering organic food company that was listed on the stock exchange, and I had just built, for the people I love most, a grand mansion, and of course I had the Ferrari and Porsche parked in the driveway. But due to stress and making poor lifestyle choices, I lost everything. Most of all, my freedom. I had a complete mental breakdown, and they confiscated my passport and took my credit cards off me and froze my bank accounts, and I was made a ward of the state. And I was told that due to stress, and I had some symptoms of stress. Mine were initially just grinding of the teeth, having insomnia, and having a little bit of a dull feeling in my tummy, which I found out later was to have a bit of depression. From there, I developed severe depression, where I was lying in the fetal position in bed, in total darkness, feeling unloved and afraid of the world. And to even get out of bed was a huge effort. To be able to make a decision what to wear or what to eat was huge. I just couldn't make that decision.
That is really terrible and amazing. But I've got to ask you, Paul, before you go on, how did they take your possessions away? I mean, the state did this, I assume. And was this in New Zealand or Australia, first of all? And what happened to bring that about? I mean, I know the symptoms you mentioned, but many people have symptoms like this. I mean, that's not a reason to make you a ward of the state.
Oh, well, from there I developed bizarre behaviour from severe depression and became a runaway train whereby I lost control totally. I would go into a restaurant and couldn't speak when they asked me what would I like. I stripped to my underpants in a board meeting. Close to the time of having my nervous breakdown, I actually was giving out $100 bills at the local gas station. And and I thought I could fly. I was jumping off high walls to the shock of my wife and my sons. My feet were all bloodied. But it got very, very scary for everyone. And then I totally lost it. I thought I could walk on water, and it was pretty bad. And a lot of what happened when I had my complete mental breakdown, I cannot remember to this day. And this happens in any country. This happened in New Zealand. It happens here in America. It happens in Australia. It happens throughout the world. There are laws whereby if you're a danger to yourself or to society, they can take away your rights as a citizen. And that happens everywhere.
Yeah, well,
so
okay. I didn't know that was that serious.
You don't want to get too stressed. Yes. Well, the thing is, everybody can say, well, I'd never go near that tipping point. Well, none of us know where that tipping point is until it's too late. By the time you find that you're losing control of your sanity, it's too late. It's like walking into quicksand. You don't realise until you're in the quicksand, and the more you struggle, the more you go down. So after I had the mental breakdown, and I was told there's no cure because I developed bipolar disorder due to stress, in the end I developed bipolar disorder. Never had it before in my life, but I had it then. And they said I had a very serious condition of it, what they call today bipolar 1. And that's the end of the road. Either that or you end up committing suicide. That's what happens to a lot of people when they have a complete mental breakdown. You can become very suicidal. So from there, I decided to fight back because they said there's no cure and I'm going to relapse and go through all that again another time. And that's going to happen over my lifetime. I thought, well, I'm going to fight back. I'm going to find a cure. There's got to be a cure. So I travelled to the world-renowned Mayo Clinic in Rochester, Minnesota, and there I went under many physical and emotional tests for about 2 weeks. But again, they told me there's no cure. So I said to them, look, this was the head of the psychiatric department for the Mayo Clinic. I said, well, where would you send me if I was your son or your brother? I'd like to go somewhere where I can find answers and learn a lot more about depression, anxiety, addictions, and find answers to how I can fight back and be much better. And they said, well, there's no cure, but if I was you, I'd go to the Manager Clinic in Topeka, Kansas. So that's where I went. And I admitted myself whereby I couldn't get myself out. My wife couldn't, my children couldn't, my mother, my brothers, no one could. And I couldn't get myself out without the approval of the doctors. So there I studied everything about addiction, sadness, guilt, anger, depression, anxiety, bipolar disorder, everything you could imagine. And when I left, I was a bit unnerved by it all because I had gained a lot of knowledge. I had befriended every patient, went to all the different classes to learn as much as I could, and learned about people's lives, what medication they're on, what addictions, what had happened in their lives, have they been here before? And that was the scary part. It was like a revolving door. Some of the patients were doctors, lawyers, successful business people from all walks of life.
You know, Paul, it's pretty interesting, unfortunate, of course, but it's interesting that you were running an organic food company, and it seemed to indicate that you would be thinking about health and wellness and all of these things.
Yes,
and this,
I was.
And this still happened to you, you know? Yeah, wow.
Well, that is a very good point, Jason. I had an amazing team around me. I had the trainer. I was doing yoga. I was doing meditation. I was swimming up to a mile a day. I was doing, I thought, all the right things. But as I said to my psychiatrists and doctors, why am I getting worse? You know, why is my symptoms of stress not abating, but they're actually getting worse? And that's what's happening with a lot of us. We have symptoms of stress like grinding the teeth or insomnia, fatigue, allergies, depression, anxiety. And what can happen is they can develop into more serious issues like diabetes, cancer, stroke, heart disease, or a serious mind condition. And mine developed into a serious mind condition. Why? I didn't understand what was happening to me on a neurochemical basis to my mind. It was actually accelerating and getting worse, and it happens to a lot of people. Stress causes you to develop serious mind conditions and addictions to cope with stress. That is your destructive coping mechanisms that you lean on, as I call leaning on your crutches when you feel most stressed and vulnerable.
Yeah, very, very good points. Well, in the stress pandemic, you talk about these 9 steps. What are those real quickly? And if you can kind of just label those for us. And then I've got some other questions about genetically modified foods. I want to get into that topic as well.
Okay. Well, what has happened is there's 9 natural steps, and you don't have to do them all at once. You can do them one at a time, but they're small practical steps, but ones that can help make a huge difference. You don't have to take my word for it. The Stress Institute of America did a review on the book and said that it's a great guidebook, well-researched and scientifically proven, and you only just need to go to stresspandemic.com and you'll see the reviews, and a whole world of information will come and open up to you. But the steps are all about helping you to be able to say no to stress. They're about helping you to empower you and fortify you against the stresses and challenges of life, to help you take charge and be able to learn to say no, knowing that the world is a bit of a bullying place, and helps you to kick your bad habits. And a lot of us have bad habits. My bad habits was CRAP, standing for caffeine, refined sugar, alcohol, and processed foods. And it helps you to identify with good mood foods. And it actually also helps you to understand more about the nutrition, that you've got a second brain. It's right in your gut and your small intestine. That's where 95% of the serotonin receptors are. So if you're eating a lot of crap, you need to try and cut down on it and have it in strict moderation and start diving into good mood foods. That'll help you sleep. I talk a lot about, one of the steps is all about sleep, understanding that if you are into crap, you get an artificial serotonin high because you get a dopamine hijack. Dopamine is your reward pleasure center, and it craves more. So the more crap you have, the more you'll want to, over time, have more, and it becomes addictive. Think of famous people like Elvis Presley, Michael Jackson, Karen Carpenter, even recently Whitney Houston. They had everything. They shouldn't have stress. They had wealth, fame, success, but look what happened to them. It's their destructive coping mechanisms that kept pulling them down and shortening their lives. So you're not alone. So the other steps are all about affirmations, exercise. Some people might not be aware there's 7,200 nerve endings in your feet connected to every part of the brain and the body. So taking a brisk aerobic walk without interruptions helps balance the neurochemistry of the brain and the body and fortifies you against the stresses and challenges of life. And then you've got the other steps, helping guide you. It's a roadmap to wellness. It's a roadmap to fortifying yourself against stress. It's about awareness of your lifestyle. According to the World Health Organization, lifestyle diseases are the greatest cause of death on this planet. So if you have an awareness of your lifestyle and start just looking at how you live, is a big step in fighting back against stress. And Stress Pandemic helps guide you. It's a roadmap also to happiness and feeling in control, because a lot of us have lost control of our lives. And it also helps you to never give up. As Winston Churchill said, we'll never give up. So yeah, it's like a child learning to walk. No matter how many times a child falls over, they
keep trying
again and again.
Right.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And that's it.
Tell us your thoughts on the genetically modified food thing. Is such a big deal nowadays. Everybody's talking about it. Thankfully, it's in the forefront of, well, I don't want to say the forefront of the news, but it's certainly popular as an online topic in social media. I would say that the mainstream news is probably avoiding the issue because look who sponsors the mainstream news, right? Big advertising support from Archer Daniels, Midland, Monsanto, etc. But tell us your thoughts about genetically modified food.
Well, I mentioned them briefly in Stress Pandemic. They're not good for you. And the truth will come out in the long term. It's very sad, but it's not good for us.
Well, how do you know that, though? That's one of the things that I think people have trouble making the case.
I think that there have been tests. A lot of people have shown that animals that are eating genetic engineered food are different in temperament and very upset. And they've had to, at times, farmers had to give them back ordinary feed. Now, just think of that happening with us humans. It's affecting our neurochemistry. And stress all comes from, in the beginning, from the stress response. That's your fight-flight scenario. And it's triggered by you feeling threatened or challenged. And as soon as that happens, it increases your heart rate, your blood pressure, your whole body starts to change. And you just look at all the indicators about stress in general. We're losing the battle on stress here in this great nation. All indicators show that we're losing. We're a 24/7 nation. We're all on the go, and heart disease are up, cancer's up, strokes are up, and mind conditions are. And genetic engineered food is a bit like processed food. Everybody thought that they were okay for us, but they're not. They affect your neurochemistry. That's what's contributing to us developing very serious addictions, all to do with our neurochemistry, because we're getting uptight, so we have to reach for a quick dopamine fix. As I said, a dopamine hijack. So you reach for the alcohol, the cigarettes, the corn syrup-laden sweets or whatever, or the sodas that we drink, and that's affecting you. That's affecting your mood. So if you've got any of the symptoms of stress, you need to be more proactive. You need to have more good mood foods, more natural foods. Just try and stick to the basics. And if you are into crap, have it in strict moderation.
And give us the crack acronym again. What does that stand for? Caffeine?
Caffeine, refined sugar, alcohol, and processed food.
Yeah, good stuff to avoid, definitely. Well, what else would you like people to know? And, of course, give out your website as well.
Well, I think what's important is to understand and realize that you're not alone, you're worth it, have hope, and never give up. That prevention's the key. Prevention's far better than recovery, and that unchecked stress has very real consequences, and that you need to take control of your stress before it takes control of you.
Very good advice, Paul. What is your website?
The website is stresspandemic.com. As I mentioned earlier, I think you might have, Jason, the book is available from coast to coast at all leading bookstores. And my name is Paul Huljich, Huljich. You can always also go to paulhuljich.com.
And that is a fantastic site. Just looking at those pictures on paulhuljich.com will make one feel better and reduce their stress level, I would say. It's a gorgeous website. Well, Paul Huljich, thank you so much for joining us today.
Well, thank you very much for the opportunity, Jason. And all of you have a fantastic day, and take that first step and go out there and buy Stress Pandemic.
Great advice.
You're worth it.
Thank you for joining us today for the Holistic Survival Show, protecting the people, places, and profits you care about in uncertain times. Be sure to listen to our Creating Wealth show, which focuses on exploiting the financial and wealth creation opportunities in today's economy. Learn more at www.jasonhartman.com or search Jason Hartman on iTunes. This show is produced by the Hartman Media Company, offering very general guidelines and information. Opinions of guests are their own, and none of the content should be considered individual advice. If you require personalized advice, please consult an appropriate professional. Information deemed reliable, but not guaranteed.